So if I suppose there's no better time than the present to get into it. I will have to stop this nice Columbo. I'm sorry. I know Columbo is better than that, but we are gonna have to stop watching the best of Columbo's dog. And instead, I want to introduce you to a channel called Creep Talk Files. This was a channel that was randomly recommended to me the other day in I think it was just the recommendations of other videos I was watching. I saw this content creator, I saw this video pop up. It was the first one there on the top left, about Lily Tino. I know this content creator is trans. This is clearly some kind of drama channel, and I wanted to, see what they were talking about. Unfortunately, I think this channel has been transitioning, no pun intended, into just straight up transphobic content. It's not really. They're going over predators. They're going over people that have controversial online presences, people that have some pretty serious accusations against them. Ultimately, the conclusion seems to be that she's like rude to people and is trans, and that's bad. And there is a line where they speak about Lily Tino being involved in inappropriate situations with minors. And that really stuck out to me at the beginning. I was like, well, I would like to see what the explanation they have of that is. And unfortunately, I think that was straight up a fabrication or a complete misinterpretation of the information, whether that is intentional or because they're stupid. I'm not super sure. That's not really for me to speak on. But giving them the benefit of the doubt and assuming that they are malicious, I think it's a good idea to shine a light on this kind of shit. I will put on and let this person speak for themselves. The production of content is more important in these types than being honest. Absolutely, yes. These are also, I should mention, all of these are done in this text-to-speech voice fucking true crime documentary style. And listen, I have guilty pleasures just like the next girl. I like a good true crime every once in a while, but using it for something like this feels sinister, right? Which is part of why I wanted to highlight this. Especially in an age where trans people are being accused of grooming, accused of sexual misconduct. The concept of being trans itself is tied together with sexuality, with perversion, with to be trans is, of course, to go against society, to be transversive, to be transgressive, to be transhumanist. But, and I should probably just let this person talk for himself.
Did you know one TikToker's live streams have sparked major debates online?
Okay. Have sparked major debates online. So I'm seeing transphobia, I'm seeing transphobia, major debate online. Show a bunch of transphobia from their comment section. That's not debate. That's just being an asshole. Someone on TikTok sparking debate. That's what I'm saying. It's not debate. Commenting mean shit on somebody's TikTok is not controversy. It's not debate. It's just a bunch of people being an asshole. You're harassing this person. Leave her alone. Or found in kitchen. Very insane.
Lily Tino, known for sharing her life as a transgender woman, has gained both fans and critics.
And those, again, just transphobic comments. Awesome.
Things take a darker turn. She's been accused of sharing explicit content on other platforms.
She has been accused of sharing explicit content on other platforms. That is them saying, that is the way they're choosing to say she has an OnlyFans account. That's so fucking stupid as an accusation. Like, that's just puritanical. If you hate that somebody has an OnlyFans, I'm sorry, you're just being a Puritan, you're just being a fascist. It's not important. Stop. Why do you care? Yeah, proper pronouns used correct. Yes, that at least is a saving grace, which is what, that's the thing, right? Is even though they're doing that, this video is still just transphobia. Pretty much this is like just going to be 15 minutes of transphobia. They don't think that they're being transphobic, or at least they're trying to hide it behind the way that they're talking. They're using the right pronouns, but it's still transphobia. Yeah, if you're gonna demonize me, you might as well do it properly.
And also accused of being involved in inappropriate situations concerning a minor.
That accusation, I watched this video earlier just to make sure that I had my fucking shit straight. What they're saying is inappropriate situations involving minors. She was talking about transitioning and talking about genitals using food while she was in Disney World. That's it. There were just kids in Disney World near her while she was alluding to a penis with a fucking food item. I don't know how much further you could stretch the truth before it snapped, honestly. That's disgusting, and that's really what made me like want to fucking drag this motherfucker out. That is explicitly a lie, and it's in your fucking first 30 seconds of your video. That's your thesis. That's where people are going. Like, if people just stop watching here, they're gonna walk away thinking this trans woman is a fucking predator. And because society wants us to believe that, society wants people to believe that, they're gonna just accept that narrative. And that's fucking bad. I think that's wrong, and you should stop doing it.
Was born on January 31st, 1993.
Stop
making her
showing
31 years old in 2020.
Stop showing pictures of her pre-transition. That's so fucked up. It's so mean. Why are they doing it? It's just bullying her.
Before becoming popular on TikTok.
Why did you have to show this video? Is it okay? Again, stop showing pictures of her pre-transition.
Before becoming.
Why did you choose this video? What are you trying to say with this, right? You choose this for a reason. This is not AI generated. This is content that you put together as an intelligent human. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt and saying you didn't just fall ass backwards and shit this video out onto the internet by accident, right? You have agency, you're a human, you made art, right? What are you trying to say with this video? Is it that she looks stupid when she's twerking? Is that a fucking crime? Why are you putting this here? What, like, this obviously is serving, like, you talk about an agenda. This is the fucking agenda. This is insane. It's just bald-faced lying and just using clips like this to make her look bad and make fun of her. It's so childish. I will, every once in a while, I will break out pictures of myself pre-transition and we'll take a look at them and see like the difference, and it is fun to see that difference and that shock that people have genuinely when they see what I used to look like. And there are still clips out there of me, you know, on camera looking like the man that I was, and I'm not ashamed of that. It's not like that, but it like to intentionally put pictures of that up, it speaks to what you're trying to do. Right? You're not talking about her as the person she is now. You can't talk about her in isolation from where she came from, because for some reason you're so fucking obsessed with that part of it. It's not that she's a woman who has, and again, that would also be its own issues if this guy just hated her because she was a woman. To create a 15-minute video of just being transphobic about this person is insane. And you'll, like, when we get into the quote-unquote evidence, you will see what I'm fucking talking about.
On TikTok, Lily worked in the video game industry. Lily's TikTok journey began in November 2022, where she shared her story of transitioning from a biological man to a transgender woman. Her first controversy started when
Okay. The word biological and like biological man, biological woman is just turf shit. And if somebody says that, you can almost immediately discard their opinion. It's always dog whistle shit. They're always, it's always going to be dog whistle shit when they say that they're transitioning to a transgender woman. Like, there's a way that they talk, right? It's the disdain, and maybe an AI voice can't properly get that, and that especially is frustrating because this voice is so bland in affect. Can't really get the venom behind them that you know is there because of the context, because of all the shit that they're putting in, they're choosing to put in this video.
she corrected people for mispronouncing her pronouns.
Okay.
Here,
She corrected people. Her first controversy was when she corrected people for mispronouncing her pronouns. That's not what happened. Being upset at people when they misgender you and posting about it is not controversy. The worst thing that you could argue for this woman is that she's kind of rude after they misgender her. And she asks them not to. Maybe she's being a little dramatic, but the point of this whole thing is not to like chase clout or like get sympathy. It's to show people how fucking common it is that this happens. And then when she tries to stand up for herself, when she tries to, it's very, like, I think in some of these clips she's very polite with the way that she
take a look.
speaks.
Looks like he's having a nice feast.
She, her.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all good.
But it was not all good.
Hi. I use she, her pronouns. I'm not sir.
Oh.
Yeah, like it's like a knife in the heart. I did specifically ask ahead of time not to be called sir. Yeah, I'm just gonna go.
So rude, so dismissive. But it was not all good. Like, that's funny. She's at least, she's making light of it. She's not even being mean. She's blurring the faces of these service workers. Where's the fucking
This
controversy?
video, which has gone viral with over 40 million views, shows that Lily confronted a restaurant worker who misgendered her.
Yeah.
She records every incident,
'Cause
highlighting her emotional reaction and asking to speak to a
she's
manager. While it's
mad.
understandable
It's
to correct someone who
rude.
uses the wrong pronouns, some feel her response was over the top, especially given the worker's apology.
You literally don't get to decide that. You just don't. You don't get to decide how someone else gets to feel about something. I'm sorry that you think she was being rude to these people you'll never meet. Shut up. What the fuck do you want? It's so stupid to make this. To make a video accusing her of being a predator, with the first piece of evidence that they're showing is that she's kind of rude. That's her first controversy, is that she's rude when people misgender her. That's so fucking crazy. She's overreacting.
It's just always like a knife. It always hurts every single time. I was wondering if there's.
I don't think that's a bad thing to describe the situation to a cis person who just genuinely might not understand. Maybe it's a little bit of a dramatic use of words, but it's an analogy that works. And it's not like she's saying this to people over and over again. You're just hearing it multiple times because you're watching a bunch of her videos, you fucking freaks. The average conservative will explode if you use neutral pronouns with them, then turn around and insist that she should be overly polite. Right, because that's another thing too, is right, you'll see women who are struggling to get into fashion, who are still learning, or just don't really have fashion as an interest and just want to wear slightly more femme-cut comfy clothes. And it's like, oh, why are you not making more effort to be more feminine? Why are you not, you know, doing all of this and that? But then as soon as there's someone like me, right, who wears pretty colors, I wear bright colors, I go out in public, I look, you know, I stand out. And you're of course going to get people coming up and saying, well, why do you have to look like that? Do you need to stand out? It's like, what do you want? Pick one. You don't get to be mad about both things. People need to mind their own business, just kind of in general, I think. Probably. People could stand to mind their own business a little bit more. And not be so fucking mad all the time. Oh my god.
It just really sucks every time it happens. Sorry about that. I don't need to be called ma'am. I just need to not be called sir.
I think
Can you call me sir?
that is a very reasonable request. You don't need to call me ma'am. You don't need to do that. Just don't call me sir. Be polite to me without a gendered pronoun then. If you choose not to call me ma'am, like, I think that's very reasonable. That's way more reasonable than a person that's just misgendered or genuinely deserves. As a visible trans person, a lot of the time you have to reckon with the fact that you're going to be a normal person's, quote-unquote normal person who thinks they're just a normal guy. You're gonna be their first exposure to the concept of being trans. A lot of the time that's just genuinely true. We're just not that common. So unfortunately, a lot of the time the responsibility of explaining everything about trans people ends up being on the shoulders of the average trans woman that's just out doing her bullshit, or the average trans man just out doing his bullshit. Like, we shouldn't have to explain this to random people. We shouldn't have to justify ourselves to random people. We've already justified ourselves to ourselves and all of the people in our lives that matter, and the doctors, and the, like, Randy Random's opinion about my gender doesn't bother me. It just sucks, and you're being an asshole. And, like, I don't feel like it's that big of an ask to say don't be an asshole. It shouldn't be rude to say just Google it. Exactly. Like, it's not, why do I owe you an explanation about my gender and my experience with it? Like, if you have questions if somebody has questions and you have the wherewithal to answer, sure, go ahead. If that's something that you want to take the responsibility for, go ahead. I think that I have some level of responsibility. I'm maybe not a pundit, but I'm a visible online trans person. I'm choosing to put myself out there. I'm choosing to talk about trans issues, so genuinely I'm going to end up getting questions, and I'm happy to answer them. I'm happy to interact with people and talk about the things that they want to do, but that's like something that I've signed up for. The average person doesn't want to do that. The average person doesn't really even want to talk to you. Let's go back to this.
I just want to tell you that it's just like, it kind of
so
hurts
mean.
a lot.
So
to get
rude.
called sir.
Oh, sorry about that.
Thank you. I'm not a sir. Nothing like a good misgendering. It is a knife in the gut when I get called sir. I feel like I need to tell him. I need to tell him that hurt. It hurts more though, and it's not intentional, because it means like this is sir to him. I know you didn't mean it, but I'm not a sir.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I know you didn't mean it. It's just, you know,
She's,
it hurts. I
she's
know when
choosing
people
to
clock me,
educate
it's
because
fine,
she's
but, like,
a visible online trans
The larger
person.
issue
She's
seems to be
choosing
how she uses these
to
incidents
tell
for
these
online
people so that the
attention.
next time they run into a
Her
trans
TikTok
person, they might not
following
make
grows
the
every
same
time something
mistake.
like this happens.
She is choosing. This is a fucking stupid point, because what they're saying is they are accusing her of being upset about being misgendered for clout. And that's so fucking crazy. And for that to be used in a video that's supposed to, from creep talk files. Fucking obviously they're saying this woman's a predator. For what? Being mean? For like creating an awkward situation so that she can stand up for herself? What if you walked into a restaurant? What if you walked into a restaurant and you sat down to eat, and you called and made a reservation just for one, just for yourself, for your name? You know, and you walk in and you sit down, and they come and they bring you a menu, and they go, "Good evening, douchebag." I'd be taken aback. It's mean. It's rude. Even if it's just a slip of the tongue. It takes you aback, and maybe, like, you would kind of sit on it for a while and be like, should I say something about it? Like, no one else seemed to react to it in this restaurant. Is that just the, like, do I have to say something? I feel like I should say something, just in case he doesn't know that you should just not call people a douchebag. It's not exactly the same, but it is, like, it's similar, right? And to accuse her of clout chasing by being upset is insane.
But it raises a question. Is she
Why do you keep getting the shittiest, fucked uppiest JPEGs of this beautiful fucking trans woman? She's genuinely very pretty. Stop. Stop voting me before transition. Stop. Why is that the first thing that comes up when I Google her? What the fuck is wrong with people? Why do you care? An hour and 41-minute video about her? How is that not just bullying? How is that not just harassment? Like, she's pretty. She's doing her best. She looks great with the makeup she's doing. She clearly knows what's going on. Look, she looks so nice, and she's so happy. Look at that picture on the left there. Why are we not showing this picture? Why are we not showing something nice with her nice and smiling? Instead, we're choosing the crustiest, shittiest little JPEGs for this fucking person. Also, TikTok's most hated trans creator, even by their own community. I'm her community. I don't hate this girl. Like, why are we talking about this person's interpersonal gossip as if it justifies putting them, like, on blast for 15 minutes or an hour and 45 minutes? What are we doing? It's insane. Why does this exist? Why are we making this AI-generated voice
personal gain?
fucking
The video suggests that she
true
might be
crime
leveraging her
ass
victim status
video?
for fame and influence, which has sparked a debate about her intentions.
She's using her victim status for fame and influence. Fuck you. Fuck you. I don't even need to, like, try to dismantle that particular argument. That's just stupid.
Controversy is how she repeatedly emphasizes her identity as a transgender person in every video, using it to gain traction.
This point pisses me off as a trans creator. Me talking about trans issues, I'm gonna end up talking about trans stuff a lot, because it's like I get that you have to log on every day and see me talk about being trans every day, right? You have to go on Twitter and open your fucking Twitch account, and you have to see my bitch ass up here talking on my soapbox, talking about trans shit. And yeah, maybe that's annoying to you, but I have to wake up every day and be trans. It's not like if you successfully are mean enough to me that it drives me back into the closet, or you're mean enough to this woman that it drives her back into the closet. I can't do that now. Everybody knows. Me having, like, I have to reckon with all of the things that are going on in the world that are affecting me because I'm trans, and the way that people treat me is one of those things. I'm going to emphasize my trans identity because it gives me legitimacy when I talk about trans issues. Like, the way that I feel matters on a trans issue because I'm trans. And so of course I'm going to emphasize my transgender status. It's important to the thesis of the things that I'm saying. Why is this like a piece of argument that's being used again to try to say that this person is a predator? I think that's fucking ridiculous.
This has made some people question her sincerity, while others argue that this behavior harms the broader transgender community by reinforcing negative stereotypes.
Fuck that also. That's fascist shit. If you're the kind of person who says, that that a bad egg is gonna ruin your community. But like the way that this person is acting, oh, she's standing out. She's not one of the good ones. You know, when the fucking Gestapo come, they're coming for all of us. It doesn't matter how much of a good little gay you were. So we have to stick together on this shit. You're not reinforcing negative stereotypes. If somebody chooses to apply your behavior to a stereotype, that's them being racist. Do not come to me, see me being harassed and like people getting my pronouns wrong, and see me stand up for myself, and then get angry at me for standing up for myself. That's fucking ridiculous. But everything I've seen so far in this video, and from my previous watch through of this video, seems to be this person is just hated because she's a little annoying and she's visibly trans. And that's fucking ridiculous. She just wants to talk about the food she's eating and be trans. I don't care if you don't like her. Why do you choose to be mean to her?
Ultimately, it seems like she's built a career out of emotionally charged videos that can alienate people.
What do you mean
Especially
alienate
those who
people?
work in service roles.
Oh my fucking god.
Whether or not this is fair to the workers involved is up for debate.
You know what makes me feel alienated? When people make 15-minute videos, make hour-and-a-half fucking video essays, and this is a little bit of a spoiler of something that I wanted to talk about after this, but it really makes me feel alienated when somebody makes a 5.5-hour video talking about one trans woman because she's a little bit bad. Are you fucking serious? This is so fucking crazy. How is this not just harassment? I don't even, at this point, I don't even care what, I'm not gonna watch this whole 5-hour video for research, for shit that I want to talk about. This is insane. I'll watch your fucking hour-long follow-up video or something to get some idea of what you're fucking saying. But the fact that you are sitting down to make 5 hours worth of content on somebody, I'm going out of order because I'm just like, this is to further, but like, this is just transphobia. It doesn't even really matter what you have to say at this point. When you're making 5.5 hours worth of content to talk about this one person, that's just harassment. There is no way that what they did was bad enough for 5.5 hours of this shit. And I've fucking watched other videos this person has put out because I wanted to, like, at least get a taste of what kind of tone I was coming at. And, like, insane that he feels like he has a place to talk about this bullshit. It fucking crazy shit to do to release this video onto the internet. That, like, I thought that the Lolcow phenomenon was always disgusting. It's almost always just hating queer people or ableism in some way. And even if the person is bad, even if the person does bad things, the way that you treat them is worse. I think this is worse. This makes you look worse than them. That makes you look worse. You look fucking crazy. Like, I don't, maybe I'm the crazy one, but I've never made something like this. I've never wanted to. I feel like I could shit out an hour-long video essay about something that I care about, and I probably will very soon. Spoilers. But, like, what is this? It's harassment. It has to be. Get back to what we were talking about.
Did you know one TikTok?
Shut up. Oh my god, I hate this guy and his stupid AI-generated voice.
And correct each other in a way that fosters understanding, not division.
Okay. This goes into what I was talking about earlier, and that it's not the average trans person's job to be the ambassador of trans people. This person doesn't need to explain shit to you. Doesn't need to be nice to you. Like, you're not entitled to somebody being nice and understanding to you, especially after they were mean to you. Even if they didn't understand they were being mean to you, it's still justifiable to be upset. And trying to brush that away and be like, actually, you should be correcting people in a way that fosters understanding and not division. fuck you. I'm not gonna take your high road. I think you were being an asshole, and I don't need to respect you anymore. Like, maybe you don't agree with me, but I also don't respect you anymore, and I don't care. Like, these people want to debate me on my existence and the way that I feel, and like they want to try to this is the same kind of person that's going to want to say that I shouldn't have access to even talking near children. Like that's further thing. But like me talking about trans shit isn't going to make, like, I'm not going to trans your kids. If a trans kid, if a kid watches a video that I make talking about trans stuff and it turns out that they're trans and it helps them find out that they're trans, that's a good thing, because I was a trans kid. I didn't know what it was to be trans until I understood the feelings and things got really explained to me well. I didn't understand what being trans meant, and it took having the words for it. It took having people talking about it and talking to people about it myself to really get that that's how I felt. And that's not indoctrination, that's just like learning the language to explain the feeling that's inside of me. No one made me this way. Nobody's telling me to be trans or else. No one's influencing me to be gender non-conforming in any way or whatever. It's just, it's so ridiculous.
Another recent controversy involving Lily Tino was when she impersonated Miss Rachel, a well-known TikTok creator who makes educational videos for young children.
Okay, this I think is maybe... This is not the furthest stretch that they make for an accusation, but it does fucking suck. First of all, they use the word impersonated, and I think that it's important to look at the intention behind language, right? Because there are reasons that certain words exist. There are intentions that those words say. There's context to them, right? If I say that there's a religion, and then I say that there's a cult, those two things say different things to your head, even if I'm describing the same thing. I technically could be, like, I could describe a cult, an occult gathering, as a religion, but in the same way, I could describe Christianity as a cult. Technically correct, but those words have intent, and when I describe something a certain way, that is trying to convey one of those intentions. I think in this situation, the use of the use of that word impersonate is important because it implies sinister intention. Ultimately, it is an impersonation, but what it is a satire. It is using a well-known figure to make a joke about educating younger people. It's not an impersonation that's trying to fool kids into, like, that's such an insane leap to try to make, because what they're gonna do
Miss
here
Rachel teaches basic lessons to help
is
kids
they're going
learn.
to try to correlate that this trans creator did satire of this
original TikTok to
children's
see what kind
creator,
of
and that for
creates.
some reason
Happy A block.
says
happy block.
that they're going
D
to
says
that inappropriate
dog,
and it's gonna
let's play
fool
a
kids.
game.
I don't understand how you could say that this is somehow an impersonation of a children's creator that's trying to lure kids and teach them about controversial topics. Like, that's fascist shit. You're saying Nazi shit. And that's insane. And like, that, for some reason, that's like acceptable stuff. Like, this is on YouTube. This person has made several videos that seem to just be mocking trans and women creators. And he's just calling them like predators and putting videos up of them next to like genuine predators. There's got to be an agenda there, right? Like, someone's watching these, even if they're slop. someone's watching them, someone likes them, and they should stop liking them, and they should stop making them.
The first thing I want you to do is close your eyes. Now think, do you feel like a boy, a girl, or a little bit of both? Do you have your answer? Great. Now I want you to imagine that everyone keeps telling you that you're something else, even though in your heart you know who you are. Wouldn't that make you sad inside? People who feel like this are transgender.
When a kid tells you that they're transgender, believe them. A lot of people will say that it's impossible for a 4-year-old to know if they're trans or not, but actually that's not true. They can know, and here's why. From day one.
All right, I'm not gonna talk about the shit that Lily's saying here. I think that, like, obviously there are trans kids that exist and know that they're trans, and there is such a stigma about how we treat kids. I think especially in the US, we treat them as if they don't have any agency, as if they don't know anything, and they don't have any rights at all, which is insane. I knew that things were weird about me. I didn't know that I was trans, but I wish I had known the words for it. It would have made a lot of things make a lot more sense, and my life probably would have sucked a lot less. And it would have been nice if I had seen visible trans creators like Lily, who were, you know, just genuinely open talking about their experiences. This is just educating. To try to say that this is controversial is insane. Like, to say that kids can know they're trans, kids know stuff. Kids know things about themselves. And yeah, maybe the explanation's a little simple, but being trans isn't that complicated. It really isn't. Being trans is just not feeling like you're cis. It's really just, there's cis, and then there's you're not cis, so you're trans in some way. You're under the umbrella. It's not that complicated. The thing that she says about what if everyone was trying to tell you you were something else even though that's not what you felt like, that's what it feels like. It's simplified, but it's dysphoria. It's
Gender
crazy
is
that this
baked
is
into
being thrown up
everything
as
we do.
controversy.
Either have
And
a boy
again,
name or a girl name. Boy toys or girl toys. Boy clothes or girl clothes. So from an early
Making
age,
very
kids
cohesive
understand the
points.
difference between boy and girl, and more importantly, which one they're expected to be. So it makes sense that if what they feel inside is different than what they're expected to be, then they might feel uncomfortable, and they might want to talk about that discomfort. And we all know that kids are good at talking about how they feel. For example, mommy, I skinned my knee. Mommy, someone called me a name on the playground. Or even, mommy, I don't like wearing boy clothes. These are all similar feelings of discomfort that we can talk about to our parents. That's not to say that all kids will realize they're transgender when they're little. A lot don't. I didn't until I was 27, but I can't tell you how many people I've met that knew they were trans at 4 or 5.
the reason that people don't know that they're trans, again, I think a lot of the time is because some combination of a lack of understanding and a lack of information. So you don't know the words, you don't know the language for what being trans is. But there is also just the stigma. Like, again, the representation that a lot of trans people had growing up was being the butt end of a joke. The worst thing that a guy could find out is that their girlfriend used to be a guy. Like, what's the worst thing a man can end up being, and it's more like a woman? There's misogyny at the roots of all homophobia and transphobia for sure. It's just so frustrating. It's another thing that, like, I needed to show this because, like, I can't just sit and not show off people this fucking stupid. I need people to see them.
So if there's a kid in your life who's telling you
Like,
they're trans, please believe
I would have found
they
out
know
that
what
I
they're
was trans
talking
way
about,
earlier if I'd
and
had
your
the
support
language for
might
it.
save their life.
Lily
And
Tino recently faced criticism for creating
The only
content
reason
aimed at
I
children,
didn't transition
particularly
earlier was
about
because of
transgender
stigma.
issues. While it's good to introduce kids to the idea that transgender people exist, simplifying the concept too much can be misleading. Understanding
really
gender
not.
and identity is complex and personal.
It's really
and the line
not.
between
Well, it's
being
personal.
transgender and not can be blurry.
It can't be.
Teaching young kids about
Okay. It's blurry because you don't understand it. That, to me, is your problem. That is a lack of understanding on your part, and that does not extend to the greater populace, right? Like, I understand gender issues great and fine. I think a lot of people that I know understand them just fine. It's not that complicated at all. The fact that it's complicated to you does not necessarily speak to your intelligence. And listen, I can't just I'm not just gonna make a wide sweeping assumption like that, because that would be rude. It's just rude. It's just, there's no reason for this video to exist other than that they think that trans people are bad.
gender dysphoria might not be appropriate, especially if it's done by someone without a psychological background.
Fuck you. This argument, there's been a lot of talk recently about like Disney cutting trans stories from shows that they are producing and movies that they're making, which I think is really, really disappointing that we're already being cut out of media before and being able to get to the script, because it's not going to run well in China and it might not run well in the US nowadays. But to say that it's inappropriate to discuss gender dysphoria, especially as if you're not someone with a psychological background, I think that's insane. Because I don't need to have a psychological background to talk to somebody about my dysphoria. I don't need to have a psychological background to talk to somebody about anything. You can be knowledgeable about something without a degree, in the same way that you can have a disease without it being diagnosed, which is a later issue. But, or you can have a disorder without being diagnosed. But, like, who are you expecting to give these kids their information? Are you saying that the kids should be just not learning about it, or should they be learning about it from their parents, but their parents don't have a psychological degree? Should then they only speak to people with psych degrees on this? And if so, does that mean we need to assign a therapist to every kid? Like, this is such a fucking crazy assumption. Like, this is a crazy thing to state in your video about this person. And again, the channel itself, the point of the channel, the kind of videos that they make, the kind of presentation they're making, this is such flimsy evidence for that kind of thing. And I think that this is wrong. I think this video existing on this channel, at the very least, is wrong. No matter how nice they seem to think that they're being, and how like middle of the road they seem to think they're, like, this is 15 minutes of transphobia. It just is.
The real concern is that children are still growing and changing, and what they feel today might not be the same in a few months or years.
Yeah, if that's the case, then they'll just not be trans. I don't... Like, people are under this insane assumption that their kids are gonna wander off to school one day and come back with a fucking vagina installed. Like, that's just not what happens, and that you think that is fucking crazy. I don't even know how to begin to dismantle that level of misunderstanding of trans people and what the trans experience is. But that's just transphobic. Like, it's not a phase, not something that you get over. It's an identity. Like, if you're not trans, then you're not gonna like not being on puberty blockers, or taking the wrong hormones, or like almost nothing that happens on hormones is irreversible. And well, the regret rate for transition and for trans affirming care in general is like less than 1%, which I believe is still like 10 to 100 times less often than regular surgeries. So listen, I don't know, you talk a lot about facts over feelings, but you seem to not care very much for them when it really comes down to it, I guess. I'm not an expert on a lot of stuff, but I know a couple of things.
Like autism, who are statistically more likely to identify as transgender.
Yes, because that's not because the trans people are like taking advantage of their autismness to like turn them trans. It's because autism and transgenderism tend to be comorbid. Like they have a high comorbidity, and the fact that you don't understand that means to me that you shouldn't be speaking on this topic. Like I don't know what you want. It's just crazy.
especially when done by someone with limited experience or expertise. Another
She doesn't have
problem is that
limited
bully
experience
teenagers
or
and their children-
expertise. She's trans. Can't really get more expert than that. Like, she knows what she's talking about because she's trans. Fucking ding dong. What are you talking about? She knows about trans stuff because that's like her life. Like, I'm sorry that you get tired of hearing about trans things, but like I have to deal with it every single day. I have to get up, be trans in the world, and like go online and get harassed by random fucking strangers. I have to get stared at in public. I have to do micro adjustments. I have to really like I like have to focus on everything in my presentation to people because people are hyper vigilant about my femininity because I'm trans, and it's fucking crazy.
While she does educational content, she also promotes adult material on platforms like OnlyFans.
Making a video where you parody a children's creator to make a joke about explaining a simple concept to stupid people, right? That is not attracting kids to your platform. That is not attempting to lure children in. And the fact that she has an OnlyFans account is not a ding against her. If you don't want your kids to access OnlyFans accounts, then you should probably not let them access those OnlyFans accounts. This idea about content creators who make adult platform content, not safe for work content, is somehow immoral. It's somehow bad for the lifeblood of society or whatever. It's control, right? It's anti-sex. It's puritanical. It's more dog whistly Nazi. They're trying to control things that they shouldn't have any right to control, like the shit that I do with my body.
Yeah, there are kids
And
watching a
if I
creator who
choose to show off my body on OnlyFans, that doesn't mean that I suddenly have to stop interacting with children ever, or the concept of children. I mean, there's like a responsibility to drive out minors from not safe for work communities potentially, because like I was a little shit that got into places I shouldn't be, right? And like it's dangerous because kids could potentially actually get taken advantage of. But this isn't that. This is not that. It's not the same thing.
and
Having an
adult
OnlyFans
content is
doesn't make you a
uncomfortable and
predator.
unacceptable.
It doesn't make you a
This
pervert.
mix
It doesn't
of
make you a
content
degenerate. You
doesn't
just
fit
have an
together
OnlyFans. You just
and raises
make
concerns
porn.
about the appropriateness of her platform for young audiences.
I'm gonna get banned from Disney. I swear we're about to get banned from Disney.
Here's the
Last
fucking
summer,
thing.
I got my cake pops removed, and the plan up until recently was to get my marshmallow wand reconfigured into a marshmallow tunnel. Unfortunately, a few weeks ago, I noticed some hair regrowth on my marshmallow wand. That's bad because the outside of the wand is what becomes the inside of the tunnel.
She posted a TikTok filmed at Disneyland where she made inappropriate remarks about transgender topics.
It is not making inappropriate remarks about transgender topics to discuss surgery. You wouldn't be pissed off if I talked about my appendectomy around children. You're only mad because it's genitals. And you're really only mad because she's trans. Because it's not inappropriate to talk about a surgery that you're having, a surgical procedure. She's not even talking about body parts. She's alluding to them using food. So the crime here is that she alluded to trans surgery using food while children were in Disney World. And that is such a reach to call her a predator from that it is insane. Again, it's just transphobia. Why is it my job to police the shit that I say around your kids? Again, that's just puritanical. If you're afraid of your kids being exposed to public things that happen in public, just fucking don't take them into public. I don't know what to tell you.
She even joked about getting banned, which made it clear she was aware of how inappropriate it was.
Oh my god,
The issue
no,
wasn't
it's
just the
because she made a joke about being banned because of people like you. You're the thought police, dude. That's you. Leave her alone. You're making a joke. What the fuck?
Content.
That's insane.
Content. But the fact that it was directed at a younger audience.
Okay, talking about sex change in Disney, and you wonder why we call you a groomer. That's not grooming people. That's not grooming people. That's not what that is. You are just using a word that you don't understand. You're talking about sex change. You're talking about an operation while kids are nearby. Does not make you a fucking rapist, a child rapist. Like, that's not the same thing. You can't just say that. The words mean things. And you are not in your right mind because she thinks that she's insane. It's like this is transphobia. You are putting transphobia up on the screen and saying this is evidence. That's controversy. They're being controversial. That's not controversy. These people are just harassing her and you're doing it too. That's what this video is.
Some argue she's using this kind of content to provoke reactions and boost engagement, even if it means upsetting people.
Girl, she just went to Disneyland and talked about her life. Like, is that a fucking crime all of a sudden? If I had to go, what if I got shot in the dick? What if I got shot in the dick and I needed to go to dick replacement surgery? And I just happened to be in Disneyland because I was like, I just got shot in the dick and I want to go to Disney because I deserve to go to a nice place after I got shot in my dick. And then I wanted to talk to my friend about my dick replacement surgery. And I was like, well, it's kind of inappropriate to talk about it while all of these children are around. So I will use a clever illusion that a child won't understand. Or even if they do, they might just think it's silly. Sorry about talking so much about my dick replacement surgery, but like, I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty good analogy. Like, is it inappropriate and sexual because it's a surgery. I'm getting a procedure done to fix the body that I have. And again, even if you are somebody that is like, original dicks only, no replacements, I can't, like, dick replacement victims are not human, like, that makes you a bad person. I don't know. She doesn't make videos for kids. She doesn't make videos for kids.
The exposure of young children to such complex topics before they're ready.
She's talking about being trans. She's not making videos for kids. She's just making videos about her life. She's not making video aimed at kids just because she's at Disney World. Adults are allowed to go to Disney World. Even if you think it's cringe that adults go to Disney World, it's not fucking illegal to go to Disney World when you're an adult.
Important.
Again, talking about, like, parents should be the ones teaching their kids about this stuff, but they're not gonna fucking do that. And it's clear that they're not going to get it from media. So, like, it has to be our responsibility. It has to be the responsibility of your average trans woman, or your average trans man, your average non-binary person out on the street to get, like, fucking stared at until you have to explain yourself. And it's fucking stupid. Why is... Like, we should have people that are visible, that are online, that are able to explain this sort of stuff to people so that... Because no other institution is doing it, and online gives us an opportunity to disseminate information. The fear of the spread of information is fascism. You're scared of people learning about something and it, like, changing them like a cognito hazard. It's not gonna fucking do that. Information isn't dangerous. It can only make you learn more about yourself and the world around you, and if you're afraid of that, you're a fucking fascist. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. Fatty Bong Rips for the chat. Watch more of this bad video.
Apology is that I didn't make more. I can see how
okay, what what in the fucking Subway Surfers is this? Why could we not get just this video where she's talking? Why is this happening?
you'd understand what I was saying, and you were listening, which no one was. It's no different than talking about a hip replacement.
Now let's address the most
Literally what I just said. Literally what I just said. She's a queen. I like, at least in this aspect. Again, I can't. Like, if I Google Lily Tino controversy, I'm sure I'm just gonna end up with fucking transphobia. So I'm not taking, like, with this being the evidence that you have provided me so far, I'm not taking your claims of her being a predator very seriously at this point. And everything she has said has been pretty based.
disturbing and troubling accusation.
Does that make me a bad person? I don't know. I think she's cool.
Allegations of SA
She just
but
wants to live her fucking
before
life.
we move on to, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our channel
Uh,
for more content like
Oh
this.
my god! Ow! That, like, whiplash of that from the AI generated voice, that was like physical pain. What was that?
Now
I'm
let's
not gonna-
dive into the story
No, I'm
of
not
Lily and the
subscribing!
accusations made by Colleen. And it all
Colleen.
started with a series of TikTok.
A
Colleen
series
claimed
of
that Lily was
TikTok.
behaving inappropriately and making people uncomfortable.
Acting inappropriately and making people uncomfortable, not a crime. Actually not illegal. Like, not even really a morally bad thing to be. People not liking the way that you carry yourself reflects more on them than it does on you, and that's fucking crazy that this is, like, even included as evidence.
Does she really deserve the harsh criticism Colleen is giving her?
No does she fucking deserve a 15-minute video being made about
Let's
her.
watch the
Like,
videos,
insane.
including the responses.
Don't play.
see
You
if we can
cannot
make
play
sense
down
of
the
it all.
middle with this. You're doing a transphobia. At least, like, fucking nut up and and say you're doing a transphobia.
But as the story unfolds, there's a
Let her
lot to
talk!
question about intent, misunderstandings, and what
Okay, this has, like, it's so crazy that he's just talking over this and like not just letting her talk. That is suspicious to me, that he's choosing to put his own words in her mouth.
receiving millions of views. This public approach feels dramatic to some.
Of course,
Especially-
because it's gonna get picked up. A trans woman being uncomfortable about another trans woman. I'm sure that this girl didn't mean for this to get so fucking exploded. I'm sure she was just like, I was made uncomfortable by these things, and I just think that it was like, not fucking letting her talk. Like, putting all these words in their mouths instead of just letting the videos play. I did go and watch the videos. Spoilers, sorry. Lily pitches an OnlyFans shoot, like, invites her to come to Las Vegas, and then mentions it was for an OnlyFans shoot, and she was, like, offended that she was being invited for that, like, and it just seems like a genuine misunderstanding, or maybe, like, an offer that didn't land quite right. Maybe like, misunderstanding of where they were in a relationship with each other, if that it would be appropriate to do that. But it doesn't seem like Lily pushed it or even, like, did anything else past that. And, like, making a mistake like that and making somebody uncomfortable is not taking advantage of them. It's not sexually harassing them. It's, yeah, it made you uncomfortable, but it seems to really have just been this incident. In a video where the main thesis you said at 30 seconds was that she was in inappropriate situations involving minors, that's just untrue. That's also this inappropriate situation. Like, even if everything, all of my judgments about this are wrong, and like, we assume, yes, this was incredibly inappropriate, never should have happened, like, this was her fuck up, her mistake. Even in that world, these are two consenting adults, and I don't care what they do between the two of them. And I think it's weird to care.
claiming she accepted Colleen's refusal and moved on. Lily even apologized privately, which raises a curious question. Was taking the matter public necessary, or was it done for attention?
Not done for
What complicates
It's not done for attention. And that's the thing too, right? Is like, now we're going to, like, we have to, like, say it was like, oh, it must have been clout chasing on the other girl's part. I don't think the other girl meant, I don't think that Colleen meant here to make Lily, like, become the target of a harassment campaign. I think she was just uncomfortable and didn't know how to like deal with that and wanted to talk about it. But she deserves also to be able to like say what she wants to say online, and she deserves to be able to like, you know, be uncomfortable with things that happen. I'm not gonna be upset at her for being uncomfy, but it also seems like Lily wasn't upset with her for being uncomfy either, so I'm not really sure why this needed to be a big thing. And again, I think it probably wasn't intended to be a big thing. I think maybe she just genuinely didn't know how to deal with this uncomfortable situation. And instead of talking to them in private and like settling it between each other as people, they like took it public and made it a big thing. And that's not necessarily for attention or for clout chasing. It's just kind of human misunderstanding, and I don't really think that's a crime. So I don't like the insinuation that immediately it's like, oh, like now it's like we have to, there's an accusation back. It's like, it's not. It's just that this is a nothing. You're providing me a nothing and telling me that this is controversy that this person had. This is nothing. This is, I made someone uncomfortable and then I apologized and we moved on with our lives, and she was kind of uncomfortable and the situation escalated, but I still apologize.
Colleen suggests Lily may have had a crush on her, while Lily denies it and calls the accusations exaggerated. Colleen also
voice is
points out
deep for
Lily's
some
past
reason.
comments and actions.
Just seems like she liked this girl and maybe like overstepped a little. That's not a fucking crime. That's not controversy.
Adding confusion to the narrative.
This is nothing. This is fucking vapor that you're providing me with, and trying to say that this girl's a predator.
The tension, the exposure
It's not
of
fair.
private conversations, and the involvement
It's
of
fucked up.
controversy.
Like, it must have
This
taken
situation
some
leaves
amount
many
of time to
wondering,
make this video. I'm sure it
was
didn't
this
take very
truly about
long.
addressing
Not a lot of
inappropriate
effort was
behavior,
put in, but like,
or did personal feelings in public
some
play
went in,
a
and I think
role?
that's embarrassing.
Either way, it's a
how bad it can feel to have the hate mob on you as a trans influencer. And then cut to a few
probably
weeks
felt
ago,
really
Lily
fucking
messaged
bad
me
to
with the
accidentally,
idea
like,
of,
point
do you
the
want to
hate
go
mob
on
at
a
her?
work
Because
trip with me to
thing
Las
is that,
Vegas?
like,
And I tell her immediately
conservatives
no,
are going
because
to just
I'm on a
fucking
Canadian work
especially
permit. And the
latch
moment I
on
leave
to
Canada,
any
it goes null and void. It's not good anymore.
like
But
conflict
then we hopped
between
on a
trans
Discord
women,
video
any
chat,
conflict
and she was
between
still
trans
really
people.
insistent
They
on
are
wanting me to get to
immediately
the
gonna
US
latch on to the
ASAP,
bad
so we
ones
couldn't
and
meet.
point and be
Meanwhile,
like,
I'm
see,
just wondering why
see,
is
they're
she
all
so
like
urgent
this.
about this? Then she just pops out with
And
the
it
bait and
sucks.
switch
It sucks
of,
that,
oh, I
that
wanted
she's
to actually
being
go to Las
used
Vegas
for
to do
this video,
OF
for this
content
agenda.
together.
It sucks that her genuine uncomfortableness with this situation, which maybe was blown a little out of proportion, is being turned into a weapon against somebody else in her community that I really genuinely think that it maybe didn't do anything wrong here. It's insane. It is not a crime to ask somebody to have sex with you. Especially if they say no and you respect that. Like, the fact that you're uncomfortable with it doesn't necessarily... That doesn't make it bad. Like, you just didn't want to have sex with them. It's okay.
Over again.
And like, she deserves to be able to be uncomfortable.
Like if you had a coworker and they just randomly ask this to you, that's how it feels.
Okay, well, I think that's a different... Yeah, okay. Okay, the video is just over. Cool. Great thesis, I guess. That if that's the strongest piece of evidence that you have, I think you're a piece of shit, and this video should never have been made.